Welcome everyone. Welcome to this presentation today. I'm really happy to be here today with Matt. Matt, who has quite a brilliant CV, I would say. Matt has been actually CIO and COO of multiple companies, Perpetual Limited. He has been CEO of Suncorp Group. He has been also CTO of the Commonwealth Bank, and last but not least, director of the customer engineering at Google. So today, the goal of this presentation is really to go through the AI powered, and this is something that we really want to share simply because there's something quite critical. For the past year, we've seen that AI is just booming completely on the market, and clearly, I think that a lot of us have been expecting something maybe even bigger. I heard a lot of people scared even of AI. The goal of today is really to explain a bit where we're coming from and where we're going. So I will maybe start just by letting maybe Matt introduce himself quickly and just saying where he is from, because I think it's important as well. I think it's a long story and it brings a lot of value.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here again. Thank you, Sebastian, for the wonderful introduction. Again, Matt Pancino, I'm the Director of Customer Engineering for Benelux, and if you listen carefully, you may realise my accent's not really from around these parts. This is true. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I moved here in January. I have 3 adult children, and I'm struggling a little bit here today because mostly my adult children wear big headphones like this, and where they're wearing those big headphones, they're definitely not listening to me. So I'm taking a little bit of adjustment to talking to an audience with headphones, but it is great to be here. And the only other thing I'd say is, yeah, my CV, what makes me a little bit different from traditional Googler is I joined Google almost 5 years ago, but I've spent 30 years on the customer side, on the buy side, working for companies which are working with customers, building large-scale CRM systems, customer-related systems, and a whole range of things. So I've spent most of my life in your chair.
Brilliant, thank you for that. So we'll straight jump into the subject. I think that one of the questions that we have is clearly, how does AI has changed in the past years, and what's the usage that you see today in the companies? How do you see it for the future as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. So I cannot not show my age in the sense that I've been in this game for the last 35 years, and I still pinch myself working for a company like Google at what I think is a major inflection point in where some technology is going with AI. Now, this is coming from a cynic, where we've seen a lot of technology come and go. AI is not new, but if you were to ask the question of, really it was August of 2 years ago that obviously ChatGPT launched, and it took the attention of a lot of people because it made AI accessible to a lot of people. And what we have seen is the kind of rapid experimentation and adoption of AI in quite an extraordinary way, where we're seeing meaningful deployments of AI used in everyday life. Like, I'm just going to quickly ask a question to hear, who uses AI, any form of AI, just to do various pieces at home or in their hands up?
Impressive.
Okay, so 50% of you are already using this technology in your day-to-day lives. And that only really existed in the last 2 years. I think that says a lot.
Yeah, indeed. I think that at Odoo we see it a lot as well. We see a lot of customers that are starting to use, I would say, the productivity apps. We talked about it as well. I think it's a matter of being more productive on a day-to-day. We see, transcription of audio calls that you might have. You have the way people can write emails, etc. But today, for you, and coming from Google, what's the level of maturity of the usage today of AI?
It's a good question, because I guess 2 years ago there was a lot of experimentation with AI. There was these big, large language models, and people were using very big publicly available models, and people were kind of going, how is this going to work? Can I trust where the information's going to come from? How do I actually think about applying it in my day-to-day life? Do I have security and privacy of my data? There's a whole range of issues that were kind of coming to the fore in using this technology. Wind forward 2 years and the ease in which you can now adopt AI, where it's grounded in your truth and you can do it safely and responsibly. And you can also apply it to just, we were talking before we came on, in small, just, you don't have to do major kind of big transformations with AI. Is how do you apply AI at little pain points in your customer's journey, either in how you acquire customers or how you service them, how you provide support to your customers, by being able to, assimilate large volumes of information and provide meaningful responses to customers is really transformative. And we're seeing across a range of our customers today, particularly customer service chatbots, you name it, we're actually seeing AI deployed in production more regularly now.
Yeah, so we agree that we are not going to be replaced by any kind of machine for now. We are getting back to a more, let's say, tangible world where basically we see really that AI is just helping us on the long term. And I think that there's way more to that. Today we've been really addressing, I would say, the basic level, the fundamental level of AI. What about the next steps, which are probably generative AI, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I've learned not to do is to predict too far ahead in the future, because the models that we started using 2 years ago versus the models we're using now have changed dramatically. But if you want to talk about where the art of the possible could go, recently we held a volunteer, we got 400 organizations together across the Benelux region to do a hackathon on Gen AI for the Princess Maxima Children's Hospital for Cancer based in the Netherlands. And in one day, we were actually able to build a set of AI models that were actually able to interrogate the world's medical journal sites and provide physicians the ability to, with a patient, with a set of criteria, be able to use an AI system to immediately find, not diagnose, but find all the available information and the latest medical journals that would be relevant for that particular patient with the prescribed, tested treatment paths, and be able to hand that back in seconds. And that was built in one day and now is actually being used in limited use for physicians to get advice. So the productivity increase of something that complex, they used to have teams of people sifting through medical journals and indexing medical journals and all of this type of stuff. They've been able to accelerate that process to literally almost instant automated responses. So from a maturity point of view, there is no limit, but you don't start solving big problems. What we see most customers is they start using AI or taking someone else's AI, then they start shaping AI for their business needs, grounding that AI in their customer data or their requirements data, and then we also see a lot of organizations now building custom AI models to do very specific and unique functions.
Yeah, I think that we see that the medical industry is really benefiting from AI, and I would say the high value AI. Do you have any other industry that are really into it for high value?
I think what we're seeing is a massive wave of customer service AI. If you think about the ability for you to solve, if you're a complicated business, whether you you've got a large inventory management business, or you've got lots of products that have got lots of FAQ and user requirements, the ability for you to either augment your existing customer service teams with AI so they can find information for the customers they're serving quicker, or for the ability for customers to serve themselves and find the right information at the right time on the right product. We've all used chatbots in our lives and they all drive us crazy, but the ability for that chatbot to now provide real relevant information based on your company data is something that we're seeing. I mean, we had a use case in America where, for example, in Wendy's, the fast food burger chain, a lot of people would use slang. They wouldn't read the menu. They use slang on what they call a burger and this types of things. Wendy's actually deployed a AI use case where they actually replaced the person on the end of the phone taking a fast food order in a drive-through, so that basically someone could actually literally speak their order in, I want a burger and fries and this and that, and half this, and the LLM would actually be able to transform that into a very clear order which the attendant could validate on the spot. The person no longer had to read exactly off the menu what they wanted, and it actually saved order time by, X%. Accuracy went up, and it was a great experience for the attendant, the customer, and so forth. So there are many, many customer server examples we're seeing come to the fore.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's also the question on when do you start using AI and how to put it in place. I've heard a lot of companies saying, yeah, we would like to use AI. While I believe it's not the right approach, I believe that you shouldn't look for a problem to fix. It should be natural, right? So how do you see that? How to put a real AI process in place?
It's a really good question. It's interesting how, well, let me ask the question. So 50% of the people up here put their hand up saying they're using AI. Let me ask a slightly separate question. How many of us here are actually using AI in their business today to solve customer problems? That's not bad. It's probably 10%.
10%, yeah.
So 50% of people are using AI, can see the opportunity in their personal life, and 10% of organizations are currently deploying AI. So the first thing you really need to do is think about skills, capability, and actually working on the art of the possible. And I think it is about learning from examples, finding as many examples. I think on the talk I've got next, there's a number of examples I'm going to be able to walk through. But it literally is about building a culture of experimentation in your organization that's going to let you safely experiment at low cost and low risk to be able to see where AI is going to be able to resolve one of those customer pain points. Because you think anything that requires large volumes of data, anything that requires a customer pain point, anything that's potentially a low value task, it can be automated with AI. Absolutely. And the tools, like 2 years ago, the tools for your businesses to be able to do that were probably not as mature as they need to be. You wind forward to today, I think the greatest change is the kind of enterprise or the readiness for businesses to be able to adopt these tools. Because it's critical that you can protect your data. It's critical your AI is going to be able to be grounded in your information. It's critical that your security of your customer data is secure. A lot of these kind of guardrails are now built into our modern platforms which you can actually use, but you actually have to have the mindset that how you're going to exercise it.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's really interesting to see how to put that in place. But let's be concrete. What if tomorrow I wanted to implement myself, someone in the room? How should I do it? Can I come straight to you guys and put something in place?
Absolutely you can. I mean, we have a series of programs and partners. We run things called G-Hacks or hackathons or structured workshops where you actually can experiment and begin to actually use some of these tools in a very, very simple way to be able to solve problems. That's exactly what we do. We support our customers, either ourselves or through our partners, of being able to solve simple problems, start small, test the results, then put into production, build the skills and capabilities, and then continue to build AI into your organization. I mean, you've got to start, is the point. This is not something I would say to anyone in this room. It's not going to go away. This is not going to be a fad that's kind of, oh yeah, remember 3 years ago we were talking about AI? This is literally building. Speak to any of your kids going to school, speak to any of the students, speak to customers using. This is not going away, so you have to start now.
Yeah, and what we see today is that indeed most of the time it's not really it's not always super sexy, basically, the problem that we're fixing with AI, right?
No.
And so how can you think about it when you have potentially something that you're not thinking of in your company? You have a situation and you're like, okay, I have this issue, can it help me? You have a process to first analyze before going to someone to get help?
I think it's going to be different for each case, but I think, again, let's take it back to concrete examples, right? go to a team in your business, you want to run a marketing campaign, you want to have certain imagery for your marketing campaign, you want that campaign to be the relevant voice of your customer. How much time does it take to actually generate a compelling campaign and experiment to be able to do this? You can use many of our generative AI features to be able to, again, on your data with your company's tone and voice, be able to generate the right imagery, the right text, even the right audio now. We might play with that in the next speech, to be able to generate those campaigns almost instantly using these AI tools. It doesn't remove judgment from your organization to say, how do we actually apply this and are we going to put this in place? But if you think about sales, service, or fulfillment, or any part of your business, how could you actually find a simple friction point, a simple pain point, and insert it into your everyday processes and use some of these tools and technologies? Obviously you have to become familiar with them to be able to deploy into your business to get real business benefits. And you may make some mistakes along the way, as long as in terms of the value that you generate, but you can't make mistakes around customer data, security, information. So you've got to really understand what your risk appetite is to actually deploy AI and do it safely. And I think that's something that Google has several billion customers across the world, and so the stakes are pretty high, so safety is at the forefront of everything that we do.
Yeah, you know, as a salesperson, I like to also see the sales aspect, right? Is it expensive today to put AI in place? I know it's a really difficult question, but at the same time, is it affordable on a really short period of time, and can we do it easily?
The tools are available for you to do it in an incredibly cost-effective way. You can start exactly taking models or enterprise-grade models. For example, in our Google Workspace suite, we provide a complete set of AI automation tools that let you automatically schedule calendars, automatically be able to summarize emails, a whole range of tools which you can pick up and you can start using today across your user base at, you know, relatively good incremental costs. And we even have tools which is agent builders, which is again quick to experiment. You can choose any particular type of model. We have models that are really expensive to use and really expansive, or we have very much, you know, think of translation. If you've got to provide a website to multiple jurisdictions in Europe, I'm not good at the multilingual thing yet, but hopefully I'll get there in time. We've got special models that are tuned to just very cost effectively to perform translation services. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, you just have to be very targeted for what the use case you want actually is.
Brilliant. Thank you, Matt. I think that we'll continue anyways. You will stay on stage afterwards for another talk, but I think that now it's already the good moment to have some questions from the audience, and to hear what people think of all that.
Yeah, because by the way, our tools are out on the booths where the team can actually demonstrate to you how we're using them today.
Yeah,
we
is
can't.
it good now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Matt. Thank you so much. We have, I think, time for 2 questions, but there have been 2 recurring themes on the panel. So the first one is for you, Sébastien. Many people have been asking, when are AI features coming to Odoo? There's been one person who said he's using an AI to generate. There's someone who says he's using an AI to generate reports to get data from his Odoo database. So when will we be able to interrogate your company through Odoo?
Yeah. So basically today we are adding AI step by step. I think that we clearly do not position as an innovator in that area. We're using the tools that are available to us. So if you have seen the keynote, we have already added quite some new tools. I mean, you can use it on the website, you can use it to create the content, you can use it as well for your mails, you can use it as well in the accounting tool. So it's indeed improving a lot, and we plan as well to add a lot in the CRM aspect to help customers use the best of the tool. So it's ongoing, we continue to add things and it will increase.
Okay, thank you so much. And then there's a question for you, Matt. So there have been lots of people popping in chat, mentioning some of risks which are associated to AI. Some people have been asking about the energy cost of running large models. Some others have been asking about whether AIs will replace human employees. Could you please tell us a bit about how you see these things having an impact?
Yeah, I think these are all really, really important questions, because you could argue the energy required to power the world's AI on a growth trajectory is not going the right way if you think about the importance of greening the planet. Certainly I can only speak from a Google Cloud perspective, which I talked a lot about. Responsible use of AI is at our course. Safety is at our course. I'll talk a little bit about that in our next presentation. And certainly from a Google, and when you work from Google and Google Cloud's perspective, we have a lot at stake when it comes to security and safety, when literally we have 9 products, each of having over 1 billion users in the world. We have 2 billion, I think, something ridiculous, active users, and so security and safety is at the forefront of all of the models that we build, and also our responsibility for ensuring that we use energy use effectively. I think in the Netherlands we're operating at about 97% green energy. We were the first hyperscaler and cloud provider to be carbon neutral in 2005, and our goal is by 2030 to run completely carbon free, which is a huge, huge investment undertaking. And so I think these are really important considerations, which how you think about safety of the partners that you choose to work with will be the ones where you've got to have your own framework for responsible use of AI, and that will dictate what you use, who you work with, and what risks you're willing to take with your own internal operation. But you have to have that conversation internally.
Okay, and maybe like for some people here who'd be interested in knowing practically what do you think would be like an acceptable use of energy, like, or yeah, would you be interested in giving figures or?
Well, I think that having comfort that you've got, if you work with an organization like Google, that its target and its stated target, which is audited and publishable, is going to be 30% carbon, 100% carbon-free energy by 2030, which is not that long ago. And I think out of the Benelux region, we're in the order of about 90%, and we're carbon neutral. It's about choosing the right partners who are going to be able to align with your customer values.
Okay, great. And then I think a lot of people have been asking about this talk, whether there is something going on between Odoo and Google Cloud. People have been curious.
That's a good question. I mean, we've been a customer of Google for years, and obviously the more we grow, the closest we get as well, because we need to collaborate the best way we can. So yeah, that's the reason why we have the chance to have Google today on the event.
We love working with Odoo.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for answering the questions. We'll have a few minutes just of moving things around, and then we'll go on with Matt's next presentation.
Yep, we'll stick around. We might attempt something fun in the next presentation. It might fail miserably, but we'll give it a go.
Thanks a lot, Matt, for this presentation.
Thank you, Sebastian.